And we're live. This is Dave Espino and James Renuff. And today, in this episode of the Entrepreneur Dojo, we want to talk about how action creates opportunity. And one of the things that I've realized in life is that my biggest opportunities, biggest things that have come to me, have come as a result of taking a lot of action. And it's interesting because in the different ways that I coach, the different communities that I coach in, I see this happen a lot. I see perfectionism. I see people overthinking things. I see people analyzing things, and I don't see people doing a lot. And that's not a knock on them. It's just human nature. It's just the way, it's just the way we are, right? We'd rather lean to what's comfortable or what we're familiar with. But what I've noticed in the big opportunities that I've had over the years is they were prefaced. These opportunities were prefaced by me taking a lot of action. And let me give you one example. Okay, so my first big opportunity was with the infomercial that I was on. I was featured on an infomercial teaching people how to sell on eBay. I sold my course. It was a book, 2 DVDs, and then there was an upsell to some coaching. So they would actually lose money on the book and the DVDs, and they would make money on the coaching, a lot of money on the coaching. And that opportunity came about because as it turned out, I turned out to be the most qualified person to be on that infomercial at that time, at that moment in time. Now, part of this has to do with timing too, but the way that you work yourself into luck, and that's what I call it, is working yourself into luck, is by taking massive action. So prior to that, prior to landing that gig, that deal, I had worked for a whole year straight on promoting my ebook. And, this is in a time, 1999, when all we really had as information products to sell was ebooks. We didn't really have video. We didn't have online courses, anything like that yet. It wasn't technologically feasible to deliver video yet, right? And so I'm head down for 90 days. I'm working hard promoting my book. I'm doing all kinds of things to get the word out. I'm writing all kinds of articles, creating a lot of content, getting all kinds of traffic going to my book, get it going on interviews and things like that. And then I took a break for a couple of days. Then I went for another 90 days. And I just went boom, constant, boom, 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 just going, going, going. And then I took a break. And then I went for another 90 days, took a break. And then finally, the last 90-day burst, what I call a massive action burst, was when at the end of that, my ebook was making about $3,000 a month in ongoing income without me doing anything for it. And that's when I got the email, and that's when I got I landed the gig with the infomercial that would make me millions. It would make me my first millions. And people might go, once they saw that I got this infomercial deal, they might go, "Oh, Dave's just lucky. I mean, he's just, he got this deal." And then they could give all kinds of reasons why, like, well, he just has that look for TV, or he has that voice for TV, or whatever reasons that they conjured up in their mind, right? None of which were probably true. I mean, yeah, okay, I got the look for
You're very attractive.
but the point is that I had worked my butt off to get my book going. And while I was doing that, by the way, I was keeping a journal every week, and I was selling the journal. We talked about this in one of our previous episodes. So I actually sold a follow me along this journey, journal to people at the same time, which I thought was pretty smart back then. And the bottom line, though, is while I'm over there, working and working and working and taking action, and while I'm going through the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, I have no idea. I have no clue that somewhere in my destiny, there's going to be a multi-million-dollar opportunity coming out of that grunt work, that grind, that hustle. I had no idea that was going to happen. And then when it happened, it was shocking and it was amazing. And like I said, people probably thought Dave's just lucky. but it was totally a result of working my butt off for a year. Now, and by the way, that is just one of the aspects that I think led to that. Because had I not in a previous life developed public speaking skills, I used to work for a financial services company, and I used to do Tuesday night opportunity meetings, because this was a like almost like a network marketing type of thing. So I would do opportunity meetings on Tuesday nights, and I would do trainings on Saturday mornings. And so I had developed all this public speaking ability, this ability to project my voice and to speak and to communicate. Had I not had that, I wouldn't have landed that infomercial. And had I not gotten into the sales business to begin with, because people don't know this, but I am a very introverted person. I'm an introvert. And I started out life really, really shy. And when I started out in life also, I was kind of scrawny. And so I just wasn't in any sports or anything. I just remember, all my friends would eat like 2 hamburgers at the school picnic, and I could barely finish 1 hamburger, kind of thing. I just was not, somebody you would point and go, oh, that guy's going to succeed one day, And so, but that shyness, I was able to overcome that by getting into a sales business. And was the sales business easy for me? Heck no, it was difficult. It was hard. I didn't know if I could make it. But that sales business helped me overcome my introversion, my shyness. Then it also helped me to overcome fear of public speaking and to develop a voice and all that kind of thing. And so what I want to encourage everybody here is to focus on action above everything else. Focus on taking action. It might be imperfect. It might be wrong. It might be all kinds of wrong. But if you're not taking action, you're not opening the doors to opportunity. And who knows what opportunities lie ahead of you. But if you haven't taken the action, if you haven't worked your way to that opportunity, if you haven't worked your way to meet that opportunity where it is, then guess what? You might not be the one, that gets chosen for that opportunity. But if you're working hard and you're working hard in faith, believing something good is going to happen. And I'm not talking about blind faith. You want to be working toward a goal, right? But you're working hard, believing something's going to happen, and you're going after it. And I really believe that we work our way into luck, meaning there's an old saying, opportunity favors the prepared mind, right? Well, preparation comes from working at it and taking action and building toward it and going after it. And so I wanted to mention that tonight, James. I don't know if you have some experiences similar to that. I think I've got another one I can share as well, but I did want to get your input on this.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the most profound things that you've said in all these shows, and it's really resonating with me right now. And I really believe that, and it's actually kind of opening my mind up to some things. I mean, absolutely. If you're there, if you're the one putting in that work, you're going to have that opportunity. Look at someone that's like a professional athlete, Michael Jordan or LeBron James or whoever. They're laboriously doing those free throws every day. You see them when they're doing their dunks and everything, but for years they've been practicing and practicing. You don't think about all those time they spent in the gym and all those time with their coaches and so on and so forth to get to the pinnacle where they're at. So many people want things to happen overnight, where if they put in that effort and consistent effort, that luck tends to happen. I mean, everybody can have bad things and obstacles happen in the way, but if you're that one that's, practicing your free throws every night, when the big game comes, you might be able to one that makes that free throw. And the same thing goes with business. And I feel for me, and I hate to say this, but the truth is sometimes I perform the best when my back's against the wall. When I feel like, gosh, I need this to happen. Like that's the mind. When I'm in that mindset, all of a sudden everything's working out for me, right? And I wish I could have that back against the wall mentality every day, but it doesn't just always happen like that because you get comfortable. And that's a lot of times when people have success, after they've grinded, they get that success, then they pull back and then like, oh, things aren't happening for me anymore. It's that drive and that consistent effort that really make things happen. But to your earlier point where you say perfection, I think that's one of the biggest problems that people have, is that they just kind of, I don't know, it's like they're at the starting line ready to go, but they're just never ready to go because they're like, oh, you know what, my shoelace is untied, or my shorts aren't fitting right, or oh, it's too cold out. There's always a reason why they just don't start going.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. It's not that people can't do it. It's not that they're not smart enough. It's not that they don't have the right idea. It's that they just don't get in the game. And we've said this before in other shows. A lot of times people that aren't that smart, quote unquote, tend to do very well because they're too dumb to realize that, you know, they're failing. They just get into it and they're like, well, you know, someone said I could probably succeed at this, and I started doing it, and I was. So you look back and you're like, how did that person have success? Because they were too dumb to fail ultimately. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. Now, I'm not saying if you're a smart person, you're not going to do well. I'm just saying that sometimes you're too smart for your own good, and you want everything to be perfect. Whereas consistent, imperfect action, I'll say that again, consistent, imperfect action will get you there, as opposed to perfect action that's really not, it's not even action at all. It's kind of disguised. It's just like, you know, I want this to be perfect. And then pretty soon you're, you know, 100 other people have passed you.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I take it like the statistic that an airplane is off course about 90% of its journey. It's heading toward a destination. That's what we should be doing. We should be heading toward a destination, taking massive, constant, imperfect action, and just course correcting along the way. And that is one of the biggest keys, I think, to success that I've seen in a lot of the successful entrepreneurs, the winners that we know, is the perfectionism gets wiped away by action. Action is the lead indicator. It's the bias that they have. They have a bias toward action primarily. Now, I want to also kind of highlight this, and that is, recently, a lot of people know I've had the opportunity to start working with mastermind.com. And Russell Brunson called me one morning, on that fateful morning. I hate to make it sound dramatic, but it was pretty dramatic for me. And said, hey, I'd like to feature you in this offer stack. And we'd love for you to create a course and teach our people how to create courses. And here's the thing is, I would not have been top of mind in Russell's mind as being a online course expert had I not created 80 courses. And by the way, I didn't even know, because I had told him I created 60 because I had stopped counting at some point. I'd stopped counting at 60. I just said 60 plus courses. I didn't realize that I'd created 80 plus courses. But anyway, long story short is, because I had just a chance opportunity to talk to him, and he asked me one day, how many courses have you created? And I said, over 60. He's like, wow, that little kind of seed that was planted, and that was verifiable, of course, was enough for him to go, whenever I need an expert about online courses, I'm reaching out to Dave. Okay. Now, had I created 3 courses, and Russell had asked me one day at the airport, which is what happened. Russell had asked me at the airport, how many courses have you created? And I said 3. It would have been a whole different story, right? A whole different scenario. Like, oh, okay, he's like everybody else. Basically, 3 courses, you're like everybody else. Even though, frankly, you know, 1 course is good. You know, to create 1 course is good. But the way that I stood out in the marketplace, the way I stood out in Russell's mind, was by actually creating 60 courses. Do you know how much time it takes to create 60 courses? Of course, it took me years, right? But had I not taken that massive action, had I not gone after it like that, and sure, I had a reason to do that. It makes me money and all that. Here's the one thing I want to mention about this scenario, though, is hustle recognizes hustle. And I think this is another little nugget that we can drop right now, is hustle recognizes hustle. Now, it just so happens it rhymes with Russell, but Russell
recognizes hustle.
Russell recognizes hustle, exactly. And the reason is because Russell's created over 100 and some funnels. He knows the hustle. He knows how hard it is. He knows the value of taking action. He knows that you only get good at something by doing a lot of it. You know, the Michael Jordan thing, the Kobe Bryant thing. You know, Kobe Bryant used to practice for several hours before a game and several hours after the game. It was just his lifestyle. It was just the way he did it. And so I really believe that hustle recognizes hustle. And so when you come along and you say, I've done this, you can point to it and it's verifiable, then there's no disputing you've achieved mastery. And so a master will recognize mastery because they've been through that hard work. They've taken massive action and they respect that. It's really hard to respect. If you're looking for an online course expert, it's going to be really hard to respect somebody who's done 3 courses, right? I want somebody who's done 60. If I'm looking for the top funnel builder, I'm going to look for somebody who's done 150 funnels, either for themselves or for somebody else. If you want to know somebody who's great at digital marketing, I want to know somebody who's done a lot of digital marketing and has a lot of success to point to. And so that's what I wanted to hit everybody with today. I think it's so important that we have a bias toward action, so important that we stay consistent. We did a show on consistency and being persistent and that kind of thing. We're really here to bring you all the success traits of successful entrepreneurs. We really want to be sure that you know what it takes to be successful and that you're going to do those things that it takes to be successful as well.
I think this is a super good episode, Dave. So kudos to you. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for this topic tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. And just a quick note, I forgot to mention this, James, but I won't be available tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. And so I'm going to be going to one of the nicest steak places in town in Boise and enjoying an amazing steak, an amazing chocolate souffle, and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, I think this episode was worthy of 2 days worth of content.
It was worth 2. Okay, yeah. Good. I was able to earn my day off. So, so I won't be here tomorrow, but we'll definitely be back the next day and the following day after that. And we're looking forward to continuing to serve you all at the Entrepreneur Dojo. So have a great evening and be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Has there been opportunities that have come to you because you took a lot of action? Has there been opportunities denied you because maybe you didn't take enough action? We'd like to know that. Let us know in the comments and let us know how we can continue to serve you. And we'll do that for sure. All right, everybody. Have a great evening.